Now, Donald Trump and his Gestapo ICE units have resorted to trying to scare Los Angeles citizens, marching through MacArthur Park, allegedly searching for MS-13 gang members in full military regalia. Well, Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, and Gavin Newsom, the governor, having none of it. And they're part of literally the resistance and defiance against Donald Trump. We cover what just went down in that LA park and why it matters at the intersection of law and politics and our democracy. The only place I know of, Legal AF, the podcast, the midweek edition. And here's a clip.
You know, one of the things we were batting around talking about, but you're going to do a hot take on it instead, is what the goings on in Los Angeles, and your mayor where you live, Karen Bass, is filing a lawsuit against Trump's immigration enforcement. And so I know we're going to try to get our hands on that lawsuit and figure out what's going on. But wow, when you read the news, it's really bananas what's going on there. I read that Mayor Bass showed up in a park because they were enforcing immigration. They're doing immigration enforcement at like a day camp or something. I mean, do you know anything about that? About what's going on there?
I mean, I've been to that park, several times. It's just west of downtown Los Angeles. You would really consider it downtown Los Angeles. The population there is by far Hispanic, and you would go there on a weekend and it's just crowded, and seeing the images, right, of the horses and the military kind of like going through it is just horrible. As we know, they didn't arrest one person. This was clearly just a show of force. I think there were some internal documents that may have gotten leaked showing that was the intent of it was a show of force. But here in Los Angeles, we are definitely, and those people here watching her in Los Angeles, I'm sure are all feeling the effects. They say that the construction for the rebuilding of the fires is slowing down as a result of this. People I know who are in construction are having a hard time. Normally they have teams of people, and because of these ICE raids, people are too afraid to show up for work or whatever is happening. So we are seeing the effects of it. People I know who are citizens, but maybe more recent immigrants, are carrying around their passport cards. It's really, really sad that Trump is trying to terrorize Los Angeles, trying to dehumanize an entire community of people. And that's exactly what that park force was all about. I'm so glad Mayor Karen Bass went down there and showed up. I've met her before. She's truly, her whole career before as a congresswoman also has always been about standing up for the most vulnerable people in this community. And that's what she did that day. She was not going to leave it with a memo or a letter like Chuck Schumer likes to do. She was showing up in person, and she was standing up for the people of Los Angeles. This is just the beginning of a battle. Trump is not going to give up. He's not doing this in Texas. He's not doing this in Florida, despite the fact that before DeSantis and Abbott were like flying people away, they were having such a problem. No, he's doing this in Los Angeles because he wants this fight. And if he wants the fight, he's going to get it.
It's going to be interesting to see. I grew up in LA, born and raised, went to UCLA undergrad. And until I left LA, I didn't realize how much of an influence the Mexican population is on Southern California and Los Angeles. I mean, obviously it's right there, right? It's practically a border. It's a border state for sure. And it's close. LA is very close. And, you come to New York, and for a long time, it was hard to get good Mexican food, for example. And, it was just interesting that just normal cooking things that you take for granted in Los Angeles, there's just such an influence from the Mexican culture in the most beautiful way in every part of Los Angeles. It's not just the workforce, but it's the culture, it's the language. I'm fluent in Spanish, actually, and it's because I grew up in Southern California. And it's just this incredible beautiful part of LA. And of course, LA is a sanctuary city and California is blue. And I think you're right to point out that's why Trump wants that fight. He wants to fight Gavin Newsom, the governor. He wants to take on the fight in Los Angeles in particular, because he wants to fight right? There's probably more Mexican immigrants in Texas that come through Texas. There's probably, the same thing in Florida, right? There's so many immigrants that come into Florida from so many places, whether it's Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, all of Central and South America, et cetera. There's just different locations, but you're right that he wants the show, because they're the governors of Texas and Florida won't fight him, and so there's no show there, right? And that's what he wants. He wants people to show up and fight him and just show the world that he's tougher and the authoritarian that he is, and so LA, I guess, provides that forum for him that it's like he had like a WWE wrestling match on the White House lawn for the 4th of July, because that's what he likes. He likes a show. He likes a fight and a show, whether it has any substance or not, right? Whether it's fake or not, like a lot of wrestling performances are. That's what he wants. He wants the performance. And that's what he's doing. And that, I think, is part of his authoritarian playbook, right? It's all about, I'm tough, I'm strong, I can get away with it. And he needs that constant, feeding that constant thing, so that, I don't know if he's trying to scare people or what it is, but I think it's how he's keeping control over Congress, over the judiciary, right? It's through that just brute force. And it's so great that there are people who are fighting back and fighting back hard. And that's kind of what our mission is here on the Midas Touch Network, is to provide that forum so that we can shine sunlight on the truth of what's actually happening in so many places. And so thanks for that update, Dina, on LA, and keep us updated, because, again, when they were bringing in the troops and the tanks and everything into that tiny 1 square mile of downtown LA, because there was this, riots and, basically declared war and, all the things he was doing down there, it was kind of ridiculous, because I would talk to members of my family who live all around LA. And if you watch the news and you listen to Trump, it makes it seem like they're under siege and this is this horrible place, and all the words he used to describe Los Angeles. And they were kind of like, I don't even know what you're talking about. They like, there's nothing bad going on here whatsoever. And he's creating the chaos. He's creating the riots, and he's creating the problem. Everything was peaceful and fine until they showed up with their ICE agents and their Homeland Security agents and started swooping in and doing all the things that they're doing. They're creating the problem that then they jump in and say, oh, look, we solved it. We brought in the National Guard. We fixed it. What are you doing? You fixed your own problem. There was no problem before you got there. So, that's also part of his performative acts.
Welcome back. I'm Michael Popok. I'm traveling, and I had Dina Dahl stand in for me. Dina Dahl and I do a lot of work together on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Couldn't think of a better person to stand in for me as anchor on the midweek edition of Legal AF. It's the #1 law and politics podcast on YouTube. We're in the top 20, all because of you. And this is a way for us to grow that podcast, continue growing it on the audio side, to come on over to the Apple podcast platform or Spotify, download Legal AF, leave a 5-star review and a comment. It all helps. We have no paywall. We have no outside investors. We're all completely independent. So we do an hour-long podcast, twice a week, called Legal AF, and that was a clip. We do it on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. On the Midas Touch Network, we put up free versions of it on Substack for Legal AF and on Patreon for Legal AF as well. And while you've got a moment and I've got your attention, come on over to Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and hit the free subscribe button there as well. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.